Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a very large book haul. It has been, I think my last book haul video was in February, so it's been a good few months since then, and yeah, I've been meaning to do a haul video for quite a while because things have been getting a bit out of control. So we're doing it now before it gets even worse. So the reason that I have so many books, totally justifying it here, is that springtime is one of the kind of seasons for library book sales near where I live, so I had some really good luck finding some awesome vintage titles there, and yeah, picking up some stuff in thrift stores. It was my birthday back in March, so I received a few books as gifts, and then a few other lovely people sent me lovely books just as random gifts outside of that. And then there was StokerCon, where it was also, you know, another reason to buy books. Anyway, you know how it goes. And in addition to that, I also have this book cart, which was a surprise gift from my husband. He's obsessed with this like auction app. It's not eBay, it's some kind of like local thing, and yeah, anyway, he found this book cart on there a little while ago, and it's metal, like there's probably a bit of an echo even, so I apologise for that, but this is like legit, like library style book cart. It's got 3 shelves, and it's got 3 shelves on the other side. It's on wheels. This is like heavy duty, you know. I know a lot of people have those slightly more manageable size book carts that kind of, I guess, has become a bit of a trend in the past couple of years. And yeah, anyway, like I can't help but think, you know, that's not a book cart, that's a book cart. Anyway, I digress. No shade for anyone who has one of those little book carts, you know, they're great. And yeah, this is like kind of extreme, but it was a very thoughtful gift, and I'm very happy to have it. It does have a bit of damage, which is why he got it for so cheap. It's kind of dented at one end, but we'll get around to fixing it at some point. Anyway, I decided to put all of the books that I hadn't shared in a video yet on here to make it easier to share in a video rather than carting them all down to the basement where I usually film my videos. Anyway, enough preamble. There's like over 100 books here, so I'm not going to go too in depth with any of them. But yeah, I guess let's just start at the beginning, right? I've been very lucky to find a bunch of vintage horror paperbacks from various places. This one is The Midnight Hour by Donald Bacon, this really wonderful metallic cover, and then inside this spectacular step back art. Wicked Angel by Taylor Caldwell, The Homing by Jeffrey Campbell, A Darker Heritage by Gerda Ann Sarah, The Halloween Man by Douglas Clegg, The Haven by Graham Diamond. I love how on the spine it just says Diamond. He's like Cher or Madonna. Schoolhouse by Lee Dregon. Amazing cover, so cool. The Quick by Lee Ellis. Not one I've ever seen or heard of before, but I'm so obsessed with this cover. In a Dark Dream by Charles L. Grant. Another Charles L. Grant. This one is The Pet. Abracadabra by Stephen Gresham. I just about screamed when I found this one. Cold Whisper by Rick Hautala. I don't know if it's going to show up, but it's got the old zebra hologram action going on there. The Magic Cottage by James Herbert. I have a few Ruby Jean Jensens, which were a lovely gift from my friend Sandy. Thank you so much. We've got Baby Dolly. Check that out. The Lake, which was one of her R.J. Jensen published books. Night Thunder. And Pendulum. So happy to add these to my RJJ collection. I found The Devil's Touch by William W. Johnstone. This is one my husband found for me, I think in a library book sale, Amityville, the final chapter by John G. Jones. I thought it might have stepped back up, but it doesn't. Still a pretty cool cover though. Off Season by Jack Ketchum. This was another I screamed when I found it kind of moment. It was another library book sale and it hadn't been particularly fruitful, so I was kind of a bit bummed out, but then rooting through a box underneath a table, I found this. And this was the original printing, so I've read the more recent edition, which is the uncut version, but still very cool to have this. Love this very simplistic cover with the drop of blood. Moving over slightly, we've got Horror Show by Greg Keane. The Missing by Sarah Langan. I think this is book 2 in a series though, so I guess I need to find the first one. After Midnight by Richard Lehman. Always happy to find some Richard Lehman. Bone Grinder by John Lutz. Just check that cover out. This one is not in good shape. It looks like it actually fell in that lake potentially, but yeah, with a cover like that I couldn't leave it. I have a few Mark Morris books, which were a lovely gift from Kelsey at Slime & Slashers. We're now both like hardcore Mark Morris stans. Yeah, I very much look forward to hopefully buddy reading these with her. We've got Long Barrow, Mr. Badface, and The Secret of Anatomy. Okay, some more library book sale finds. Teacher's Pet by Andrew Needleman. This was another one that I was like, I saw the zebra on the spine and leaped for it. Sweet William by Jessica Palmer. I think this is also part of a series, so I need to track down the earlier ones. A Choir of Ill Children by Tom Piccirilli. Yeah, lots of library stickers on here, but I've heard really good things about this one, so I was still really happy to find it. And another Tom Piccirilli, Dark Father. The Freak by Eleanor Robinson. Couldn't say no to a title like that. Venom by Alan Schofield. Love the, typography turning into a snake. Great. Sellers by John Shirley. I tried getting this sticker off and it is here to stay, so I'm kind of mad about that, but still happy to have the book. I read Wet Bones by him and really enjoyed it, so yeah, I was really glad to find another book of his. Wednesday's Child by Deborah and Joel Schlian. The Slime Beast by Guy N. Smith. This was a wonderful gift from my friend Briar, thank you so much. Familiar Spirit by Lisa Tuttle. I was super happy to find this one. And last one on the top shelf is Deadly Grounds by Patricia Wallace. This one is more mystery suspense, but yeah, amazing cover. Okay, moving down to the second shelf, I have a few novelizations. This is The Fog by Dennis Etchison. Halloween 4 by Nicholas Grabowski. And Poltergeist by James Caan, which was a lovely birthday gift from my husband. One of my favourite horror films. And then a couple of anthologies that I found. Blood Is Not Enough, which is edited by Ellen Datlow. I saw her at StokerCon. I didn't speak to her, but I was in the same room as her. This is obviously a vampire anthology. And Shadows 8, edited by Charles L. Grant. Another gift from my friend Sandy was Looking for Mr. Goodbar by Judith Rosner, which sounds really interesting. I've never read the book. I know there's a film adaptation too, so yeah, very curious about this one. I managed to find books 2 and 3 in the Fear Street Saga by R.L. Stine. Yeah, they didn't have number 1 unfortunately, but obviously had to grab these. They're in really good shape apart from the corner missing on this one. Okay, I forgot to mention, but we're now in the vintage YA section and another novelization. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer by Richie Tankersley Cusick. Tales for the Midnight Hour by J.B. Stamper. I've read another one of these and really enjoyed it, so I was stoked to find this one. In Quest of Ghosts by Hans Holzer. I know he wrote a bunch of adult ghost hunting, paranormal type books, and this is, I guess, a younger reader's version. Absolutely incredible cover. I found 2 books of The Scariest Stories You've Ever Heard. We've got part 2 and part 3. Let's see, part 2 is by Catherine Burt, and part 3 by Tracy E. Dills. And yeah, these covers are just so wonderful and creepy. Love them. Yeah, it's a shame they didn't have part 1 as well, but of course, as you can tell by my look, I always seem to find the later parts in series. The first book in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch book series. A Clueless book. This is Achieving Personal Perfection by H.B. Gilmore. I found these 2 books in the Freshman Dorm series by Linda A. Cooney. I wonder if she's any relation to Caroline B. Cooney, or if they're the same person. I don't know. Anyway, these are book 3, Freshman Guys, and book 9, Freshman Schemes. Like, I am obsessed with these covers. They are just the coolest. And they go, like, on the back as well. I just love these kind of, like, collage montage type situation going on. And then on that theme, I found some other, kind of vintage YA non-horror titles, which I don't find often at all. So I was very happy to find some of those. This one is Homecoming Queen by Winifred Madison. Confessions of Abby Winsdale by Tessa Kay. Baby Sister by Marilyn Sachs. And a book from the Couples series. This is Falling for You by M.E. Cooper. And I was also really pleased to find another Richie Tankersley Cusick book. This one is Starstruck, with a really, really wonderful cover. A Fate Totally Worse Than Death by Paul Fleischman. This was another gift from my friend Sandy. And yeah, I read this for Old School April and it was a lot of fun. Now moving on to some middle grade horror, etc. This is Railway Ghosts and Highway Horrors by Daniel Cohen. Christina's Ghost by Betty Wren Wright. I've read a couple of her books now and really enjoyed them, so I was very happy to find another. I found 2 books in the PC Hawk Mysteries series by Paul Zindel. Funnily enough, I found book 2 first, The Surfing Corpse, this one was at a library book sale. And then I found book 1, The Scream Museum, at a thrift store like sometime later, so that was pretty awesome. Yeah, I need to have more luck finding the book 1 in a series. This really beautiful, I think it's from the 60s, 13 Ghostly Tales, edited by Freya Littledale. Just really beautiful artwork, and then on the back as well. Yeah, super cool. And another vintage anthology, I think also from the 60s. This is The Arrow Book of Spooky Stories, edited by Edna Mitchell Preston. Yeah, really great artwork, and on the back too. So cool. I found 2 books in the Phantom Valley series by Lynn Beach. I've read one of these and it was pretty good, so I was happy to find a couple more. This one is The Dark, and this dog is just not happy to be there. And the In the Mummy's Tomb. This one looks super interesting. It's called I Will Make You Disappear by Carol Beach York. Amazing 70s cover, and the tagline is, their curiosity led them to the secret room. Now they were actually casting spells. Sounds incredible. I've never heard of it before. I think this might be going on my Halloween October TBR. The Monster's Ring by Bruce Coville. So I knew about the Sabrina the Teenage Witch YA series. I did not know there was a middle grade Salem spin-off series. This one is the first one, Salem's Tales. How cool is that? This is a series I had never heard of before. It's called Fear Factory. This one is book 3, Fright Night by Mark Gave. I found 2 books in the Bone Chillers series by Betsy Haynes, and this is actually books 1 and 2, so yay me. Book 1 is Beware the Shopping Mall, amazing cover, and book 2 is Little Pet Shop of Horrors. So yeah, these are super cool. The backs are like all neon as well. Yeah, and these are in amazing shape, so I was really happy to find those. Another one in excellent shape is this Goosebumps Most Wanted, The 12 Screams of Christmas. This is not one I'm familiar with, but yeah, it's in really great shape, so I decided to snap it up, and yeah, you can probably guess this will be going on my December TBR. More super scary stories for sleepovers, that's quite the mouthful, by Q.L. Pierce. And in a kind of similar vein, Campfire Stories Volume 3 by William W. Forgy. Okay, moving on to some more adult fiction now, and these are like, I guess, non-vintage stuff. These are like newer books. These two were actually Christmas gifts from my sister. Thank you so much. They just took a while to get here. Anyway, these are both from the British Library Tales of the Weird series. And this one is Chill Tidings, Dark Tales of the Christmas Season. So maybe another one for my December TBR. This is edited by Tanya Kirk. And yeah, I love the artwork for these. This one is Queens of the Abyss, Lost Stories from the Women of the Weird, edited by Mike Ashley. Next up are a few books from my friend Nicholas Kaufman. Nick and his wife Alexa came into town and we had the opportunity to meet up, which was really awesome. It was so nice to meet them in person and hang out. We had a really fun night, and yeah, on top of that, Nick gifted me some of his books, which was super generous of him. Thank you so much. So two of them are part of a series of his. I've read both of these and really enjoyed them, but it's lovely to have physical copies of them. This one is The Hungry Earth. Gotta love a skull on the cover. And then this one is The Stone Serpent. And then two of his books that I have not yet read are Chasing the Dragon, which looks super cool, and a hardback of 100 Fathoms Below, which is one that he had like a viral tweet about, because he was like, a Goodreads reviewer thought my book about vampires in a submarine was unrealistic. Anyway, brilliant. Very much looking forward to reading that. And thank you again, Nick and Alexa, for meeting up. It was so nice to hang out. The next two books are a couple more from my friend Sandy. This one is a magazine, fantasy and science fiction, I think from the 90s, and it has something by Kathy Koja in there, so that's really cool. And then the other one is Whisper by Chang Yu Ko, translated by Roddy Flagg. This one sounds really interesting. I'd heard it described as like kind of like The Ring, but with like a radio or something rather than a videotape. So yeah, intrigued to read this one. This book was sent by my friend Kayla Bouchard, who also has a YouTube channel here. This is The Satirist, which is a collection of prose poems. I read this recently and thoroughly enjoyed it. A couple of books that Juan from Plagued by Visions very kindly sent to me. Thank you so much. This is his short story collection, Poking Holes. Very excited to have this. And he also sent me a manga. This is Shintaro Kago's Pretty Girls collection. It sounds kind of mental, so looking forward to this one. Garth Marenghi's Terratome, which is a signed copy, and it got lost in the mail for months and I thought I was never gonna receive it. So I was, very, very happy when it finally did turn up. I have already read this and loved it. Okay, we're back to a few more thrift store and library book sale finds. This one is 3 Gothic novels, edited by E.F. Blyler. We've got The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole, Vathek by William Beckford, and The Vampire by John Polidori, plus a fragment of a novel by Lord Byron. Monsters, a field guide to bloodthirsty beasts by Dave Elliott. And this is like this really, really cool, like it's just all about monsters and scary characters from the movies, and like it's just super cool. I've had like a flip through this and it just looks like a lot of fun, and really well put together, lots of pictures and fun facts and stuff. So this was a great find. Never heard of it before. The Ghostly Register by Arthur Myers. Haunted dwellings to active spirits, a journey to America's strangest landmarks. Spoopy. I love this colour gradient going on the cover there, very cool. Mr. Splitfoot by Samantha Hunt. Girls on Fire by Robin Wasserman. The Secret of the Red Skull by Ben Stahl. This is another one that my husband randomly found for me. Next up are a few books I treated myself to recently. We've got Cut to Care by Aaron Dries, House of Rot by Danger Slater, and also Little Miss Apocalypse by Danger Slater. And issue 2 of Midnight Companions by Luke Flaherty. I really enjoyed issue 1. I have a couple of zines. First up is Bookworms. This is issue 1 and 2. This is created by the wonderful Regina over at Regina's Haunted Library and her friend James. And yeah, these are a variety of short fiction and non-fiction and articles. And I might have a little article in issue 2, just saying. And then another one that I bought recently is Midnight Queens. This is a filmography of 80s horror movies written and directed by women. This is by Emma Alice Johnson. And I forgot to mention, but we're finally on the bottom shelf, and it isn't a full shelf of stuff. I don't know if you can see it in the frame. We've just got a handful more books to go, okay? So next up are my StokerCon goodies. This is the anthology, edited by Cynthia Pelayo. That was part of the swag bag that I got, as was The Night Housekeeper by Laura Senf and Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. I also got an ARC from the author Angela Sylvain of Frostbite. And then this was one I purchased. This is They Are Cursed Like You by Holly Cornetto and S.O. Green. And one my husband bought, Howls from the Dark Ages, edited by P.L. Macmillan and Solomon Force. Going back to another birthday gift, this is Tapping the Vein, Book 1 by Clive Barker. This was a gift from my husband. I've already read it and loved it. It was incredible. Another gift from my friend Raya is this Ghostmasters book by Mark Walker, all about ghost and horror shows and their hosts. Looks really interesting. This one was very kindly sent to me by my friend Nathaniel Toll. This is his latest book, Horror Galore, 300 Fantastic Fright Flicks You Might Have Missed. This is a big one, and I'm currently working my way through it and really enjoying it so far. Yeah, it is full of great, hidden gem recommendations. Okay, we've only got 4 books left. We're almost there. And these were a few books I had to go for an MRI recently, which was not the most fun experience. If you've ever had one, yeah, you'll probably agree. And funnily enough, one of the things that popped into my head while I was in there was that, oh, I think there's a half price books near here, because it's in a part of town that I don't normally go to. Anyway, I decided to have a quick walk over there and treat myself to a few books. So I got The Juniper Game by Cheryl Jordan, a vintage YA book, looks really cool. A Drop of Scarlet by Jamia Jefferson. I've read the first book in this series, it's a vampire one obviously, and it was great. Thirst by Michael Sicilione, another vampire one. And last but not least, The Lost by Jack Ketchum. I rarely find his books out in the wild, so was happy to find this one. And you thought I was done, so did I, but psych, I went to a few thrift stores again after filming the rest of this video. So anyway, here are the spoils. I found this one from a YA Zodiac series, Death Grip by Jana N. Malcolm, and this is the Scorpio one. I'm not a Scorpio, but this one sounds fun. A side note, Goodwill, this is the only book I got from Goodwill. They've put their prices up to $2.99 for just any book. Ridiculous. So anyway, I also got from other thrift stores that were more reasonably priced, Rock and Roll Sweetheart by Laurie Lycan. That looks fun. The Searing by John Coyne, the notorious female orgasm horror story, of course. Frightening. A bit of Gothic romance, Voice from the Grave by Clarissa Ross. I hate that they write on the books. And then maybe the best find of all from this little trip is a Harlequin intrigue book called Phantom Lover by Rebecca York. And this is 100% going on my Garb August TBR. So pretty, yeah, intrigued about this one. Okay, I think that's it. If there are any books that I have bought since the last book haul and neglected to put on the shelves here, then I apologise. But yes, a big thank you to anyone who gifted books to me. That's super kind of you. And thank you to you if you're still watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing this pretty wide array of books that I have acquired recently. I'm super happy to add them all to my collection. I look forward to reading them, you know, one day. And yeah, this isn't my usual filming spot, so I hope the lighting and sound wasn't too bad. Thank you so much for sitting through this, what I'm assuming is going to turn out to be quite a lengthy video. If so, I hope you grabbed a snack and a drink. And yeah, if you've read any of these books, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. If there are any books that you think I should read sooner rather than later, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I hope to get to them all one day, of course. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!